Everybody assumed that the real potent influence on children's development was parents. But I began to see things that were happening between children and their young brothers and sisters that suggested that this was really something that could be an enormously important influence.
Siblings, whatever the number, affect each other's development in the context of parental care and monitoring. For the Keels, a family with 5 children, the family dynamics are particularly complex.
I have M&Ms every day. Toby, you're not luckier than me, because I got 5 M&Ms. I got 20.
The sense of competition, the sense of pushing one another, the jealousies, they're all there. There's also a tremendous sense of support and camaraderie, and boy, when it gets down to it, they stick in there for one another. We certainly have knockdown dragouts, and there are days that everybody spends the day in their room. But in general, there's a sense of we know that our best support comes from one another, and we do everything we can to maximize that.
Children spend all day, every day with their brothers and sisters when they're small, and it's a relationship that varies dramatically. For some children, it means growing up with someone who's affectionate, supportive, brings you into games, comforts you when you're sick or tired or upset. For other children, it means growing up with another child who hits you over the head, takes your toys, beats you up, makes sure you don't get attention from your mother. And just on common sense terms, I think any parent who has more than one child would agree that what's going on might be important in their development.
Kirby, what did you do in Vacation Bible School today?
There was this fat glue stick, and we made these little humans on them.
Humans?
Yeah.
Well, what kind of human did you make?
I made a boy and a girl.
We range from the age of 4 to 13, so it's a pretty widespread age variety, so no one really ever feels lonely. Most of the time I get along with my brothers and sisters, although sometimes I would like to give them to the gypsies, but most of the time I get along with them.
Having an older sibling in the family can be beneficial to the child in several ways. It provides the child with the possibility of having a confidant. We think that another role that the older sibling plays is as a buffer to absorb some of the stress that the child may experience having been exposed to the mother's discussions of her problems. And in fact, that the presence of these older siblings probably reduces the mother's tendency to discuss these problems with a younger child.
Okay, gang, thanks for coming in. We're going to go ahead and call this meeting of the Keel family to order. I think because we are such a large family, we've been real honest with the children about both the pros of coming from a large group and there are some definite cons. There are times that they wish they had more individual attention from me or from my husband or from their grandmother or whoever, and that isn't always possible. The advantage to that is it's never boring around here. I can't remember the last time a child has come to me and said there's nothing to do. There's always something to do around here. There's always someone to do it with. And the advantages, as far as I'm concerned, certainly outweigh the disadvantages. Okay, so that's unanimous then, everybody? We'll make SeaWorld one of them? Okay, good. Kendra, you're next.
Well, I think we should go to the Santa Ana Zoo.
Oh, well, that's an idea. Let's everybody who wants to go raise your hands. Looks unanimous to me. Okay.
When Corey, the Keel's oldest child, became ill, her sibling role was affected.
For the past 4 years, she's kind of taken over the role of being the oldest. And now you want it back. But she won't let you. What do you want to do? Go youngest to oldest or oldest to youngest?
Youngest to
I don't really
oldest.
care because I'm always the third.
You're always in the middle. That's true.
I'll be in the middle this time.
You'll be in the middle this time.
While birth order or ordinal position certainly has an effect on children, its significance to personality development is still under debate.
When we do studies to see are there differences in firstborn children to later-born children, we do find certain differences, such as firstborn children are generally higher achievers than later-born.
There's lots of ideas around about what difference it makes if you're the firstborn, if you're an only child, if you're the middle one, if you're the last born. And
Do I need more eggs?
the people who've done the large-scale studies that look very carefully at lots of children have tended to find that those myths really are myths, that there aren't personality characteristics that are specially characteristic of being a middle child. For instance, one of the myths is that firstborn children are more neurotic, more anxious to please their parents, more achievement-oriented, and so on. And on the whole, that's not been borne out when we've looked at lots and lots of families.
If you take account of people who have achieved eminence or who are listed in Who's Who, you find a disproportionate number of firstborn children. You also, firstborn children frequently show patterns of more socialization, responsibility, more conformity to adults than do lastborn, for example. So there are certain personality differences that come up that seem to reflect some of these patterns.
What's this, Mama? Did you watch, Mama?
We have a good time, and I think maybe if there's one thing that we all try to remember, it's that like you can take yourself too seriously real easily. And so we try to laugh a lot, and sometimes it's like you laugh instead of cry, and you know, but I think if there's a thread that runs through things, perhaps that's it. We have a tremendous amount of outside support, friends and family, that mean an awful lot to us. And they've been there through both the bad times and the good times. And there have been a lot of both. My husband and I both come from small families. We both just have a brother. And so initially we hadn't planned on a family this size. It just kind of evolved as time went on. And I wouldn't have it any other way now.
I like having brother and sister because they like me.
Brothers and sisters are lovable pains.